Damien. And you may recognize me from such off-Broadway productions as the musical comedy Once Upon a Mattress. Or probably more likely just in church. One of the things I often tell my people at the church is to do the good you should. Now, basically what that means is that everyone has gifts, talents, and abilities that they can use to bless others and to bless God. Now, of course, it's not uncommon to be distracted by the largesse, but we must remember that it's so often the quote-unquote small blessings that mean so much to people. In the book of Exodus, God said to Moses, "I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the people. I am has sent me to you." Moses answered, "What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, 'The Lord did not appear to you'?" Then the Lord said to him, "What is in your hand?" "A staff," he replied. The Lord said, "Throw it on the ground." Moses threw it on the ground, and it became a snake. And he ran from it. Then the Lord said to him, "Reach out your hand and take it by the tail." So Moses reached out and took hold of the snake, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. "This," said the Lord, "is so that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you." So during this whole quarantine thing, having to be locked away all by my lonesome, I've been feeling a little bit, disconnected from people. And I've been feeling a little bit down. Part of that, not getting enough sunlight, probably lack of vitamin D. And I was thinking, something that often helps me feel a little bit better, at least, is to get a little bit of exercise. I don't want to go crazy or anything like that. So I thought, I'll go over to the store, pick up a few exercise things, nothing major, just maybe a few weights or something like that to get a little more active and maybe just give someone a smile, and I'll see people and I'll feel a little better. And so I'm a big fan of shopping locally. So I made it a point that if I was going to go buy stuff, I was going to go to my local big box chain store. And so I go to the store, and when I get there, I was surprised. There was a long line to get in. And I wait in line for who knows how long. I mean, it felt like forever, probably 20 minutes. And I get in, and I'm looking all over the store for any exercise equipment, and I realize, of course, it's on the exact opposite side of where I entered. And so I go over, and I see, okay, here are where some just basic lightweight should be. I'm thinking 20, maybe 25 pounds. Again, nothing major. And I go, and all the weights are gone, except for two 2-pound pink weights. And at this point, I'm not going to go and walk in front of everybody and pay for two 2-pound pink weights. I might have a little bit of more pride than I should with that, but I don't want to do it. And so I leave the weights, and I look around, because after waiting so long to get in, and I don't want to leave empty-handed. So I look around, and fortunately, they had two, you buy one, get one free kind of thing, a sale on really big bags of M&Ms. And I figured that's virtually the same thing I came in for. So I get that, and I go to pay, and I'm just kind of waiting for a while, and you can hear some of the customers giving the cashiers a little bit of grief. I get over to the cashier, chat a little bit. And then when it comes time to pay, obviously we're not allowed to pay cash at this point. You just have to use a credit or debit card. Now the thing is that at this particular store, the machines do not take tap. So you have to insert your card and then punch in your PIN number. And evidently some people were complaining about that because they didn't want to have to touch the machine. And so I go over, I go to pay, I insert my card, and then I reach in and I grab a pen. And I start just pushing my PIN number on the machine with my pen. It didn't seem like anything special, but the gal that was behind that register, her eyes got huge. She's like, "Oh my goodness, nobody's thought to do that. Everyone's complaining that they have to touch this machine, and you just pull out a pen and do it. That's brilliant." So I'm going to tell everybody else from now on that they should just use a pen if they complain. And if they don't have a pen, that's their fault. They got to touch the machine. And so she had a big smile. She was so happy that for this little thing seemed to make her day. And that made my day. That made me feel good that such a simple thing as using my pen to punch in my PIN number so I didn't touch the machine would be a blessing to someone else. And I thought that was great. A shepherd's staff was a wooden stick with a curved hook at the top, usually between 3 to 6 feet. The shepherd used it for walking, guiding his sheep, killing snakes, and probably a bunch of other things too. The shepherd's staff was an important tool. All the same, it was still just a stick. But God used the humble staff Moses carried as a sign to teach an important lesson. The lesson is that it's not unusual for God to take joy in using the common, ordinary, everyday things for extraordinary purposes. What are the so-called ordinary, unimpressive, or simple things in your life? Your voice? A musical instrument? A broom? A hammer? Maybe even just a pen. It's easy to be distracted by the largesse and special gifts and skills that other people have in life. But you shouldn't let that get in the way of His getting to use the everyday contributions that you can make. Do the good you should. I highly doubt that when the day started, that Moses had any idea what his simple shepherd staff would have once he handed it over to be the staff of God. Thank you so much for joining me, hearing what I had to say. And I hope that you'll join me next time when I talk about a very important issue, about not being judgmental toward people who wear pocket protectors. Until then, remember that even the little blessings can be a huge blessing to someone else. You can still do the good that you should. And most importantly, don't forget, you can still tithe. Thank you very much for joining, hearing what I had to say. I forgot what else I was going to say.
That's it.
Oh, goodness.